So the plan is all that wood's going to come off here, and we're going to replace it probably by twice as thick wood. And then we'll put more compost in on that side. And I think we'll leave the paths the same width. I mean, they'll work actually. I mean, as I say, I think that's about 3/4 of an inch. I think it's going to be at least 1.5 inches, so something that's a bit more solid. And it'll be good just to replenish everything, I think. Welcome back to the channel. It's a February morning in Hexhamshire. It's about 8 to 10 degrees at the moment. Last week it was what?
-9 degrees.
So we're having a bit of fluctuation in temperatures at the moment. But February is a great time for gardeners. It's about doing all the preparation and the planning work necessary to make sure you have a successful year.
I do enjoy deciding what we're going to do. It's great having a look at all the plants, and I always have a whim, and we buy some plants that are out of the ordinary, and we'll just see what happens.
Can you remember when we got cucumber for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, they were interesting, not knowing what was going to happen there. We've also had tomatillos. They were an interesting thing to grow. They've grown like a weed, and no matter how we try, we'll still have tomatillos growing throughout the polytunnels. They just come naturally.
There's many things we do in this sort of January, February period. We prune apple trees. We prune things like the gooseberries, soft fruit bushes, to make sure that they're going to produce as much fruit as we can. We're planting things as well. For instance, this is polytunnel 1. Polytunnel 1, we've had 1 asparagus bed. But after talking to Alex, he would like to have more asparagus in future years. So what we're doing is we're increasing the amount of asparagus we're growing threefold. And what we're going to do is we're going to build up the wood around the beds so it's double height. The reason we're doing it double height is we're going to put a cover over the top. I'm not sure if it's going to be plastic or wood at the moment to block the light out. The asparagus will still grow in that bed, but because it's not getting any light, it will not get the necessary environment in which to turn into the green and purple that all the other asparagus will do. It will turn into a white asparagus. So white asparagus is a key thing that Alex wants us to have. So we'll have probably about 150 in total asparagus crowns in here, and we've also got an outside asparagus bed as well. So we'll have lots and lots of asparagus. So typically that's the sort of thing we do during this January-February period. We also mulch our soil. So we use what's called a deep compost mulch system. And this part of the year is when we refresh the compost. We're due a 10-ton delivery of compost actually today or tomorrow. And what we'll do is we replenish the compost, and that helps feed the soil. We look after our tools as well, repair those, make sure they're all right. And then the single most important thing we do during this period is we put this year's seed order in. And this is where we sit down and we work out what vegetables, what varieties of vegetables we want to grow each year. And the key date, once you've got your seed order in and you get your seeds delivered, the key date, we start our sowing on Valentine's Day. So as well as getting the flowers and presents from my dear wife, it's also the day in which we start sowing our seeds for 2025. The reason we start on February the 14th is because what we start with then are the summer fruiting vegetables. So a big part of the whole growing year is growing tomatoes, cucumbers, gherkins, peppers, those type of summer fruiting vegetables. For them, we're always looking, when are we going to plant them? And we'll be planting them in May. To be able to plant them in May, we need to start the sowing process on February the 14th. That will give them enough time to grow, and then we'll transplant them into a bigger pot. And then come May, we'll be looking for the right weather conditions to plant them out.
What we're doing now will impact on the next few weeks, next few months, and also the next few years. The next few weeks we'll be sowing all the seeds, fingers crossed that they germinate. Once they've germinated, the next few months we'll be planting them out into the polytunnels or out into the outside growing areas. We'll also be planting some in the new walled garden. And then in the next few years, we're talking about the asparagus, when we can harvest that. If you haven't got a plan, you don't know what you're going to be doing. But for a gardener, you have to be patient, and hopefully your plan comes to fruition.
A lot of the success that we hopefully get in this year is all down to planning. We make a big thing about planning, and it's something I've taken with me throughout my career. We work on the principle of you plan tomorrow today, you plan next week this week, you plan next month this month, and you plan next year this year. So our time scale is always at least 12 months, going up to 15 months, because we need to know when the winter crops are going to go in. To be able to know when the winter crops are going to go in, we need to know when we're going to put the summer crops in. We want to maximise the use of the land, we want to maximise the cover capability we have, and it's all about planning. This is even more important as we get closer to the opening of the Freya restaurant, because we're in 2025 at the moment. The restaurant will open sometime probably in 2026, and when it opens, what the guys in the kitchen want to do is they want to hit the ground running. They want to know wherever we are in that year, what vegetables are ready now, what vegetables are going to be ready in a few weeks' time, a few months' time. And 2025 is a great opportunity to rehearse all of that. So we're looking at this very much like a trial, a test year between ourselves and Alex and his team. And, so when we come to it next year, we'll be able to make sure that everybody knows when things are going to be available. What we're also doing this year is we're taking the opportunity to try a lot more different varieties than we would normally do. So, we're in terms of tomatoes, it could be up to 18 different varieties of tomatoes we're going to try this year. Some of them will be exactly what Alex and his team want. Some of them, might not be quite right. So it's about working out not just what vegetables are available, but what varieties of vegetables are available. It's a long haul from October through to this period. We're through that now, and we're just about ready for what we find the most exciting part of the year, spring.
When you have a new year, you always have a new life. And even though gardening is very cyclical, you do the same thing year in and year out, but every time it seems to be different. Whether that's just getting different seeds, trying different methods, just sharpening up the methods that you've got already. It's always good to learn a new process. Is he obsessive? Yes. He's so obsessive. He's obsessive about everything. If he gets, as soon as you get a challenge, and that's it. He just wants to work through it. He's very good at sort of taking hold of something and seeing it through to the end. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's something simple, to something very complicated. You enjoy learning things, don't you? It just doesn't learn in the kitchen.
We're a great partnership.
You don't learn in the kitchen, though.
We're a great partnership. Behind every good man, there's a great woman.
Yeah.